Burnout is real. And if you are in sales, and obviously you are because you're listening to this podcast, burnout is real and you know it. In today's episode of the Preeminent Producer Podcast, we are going to be taking a clip from a very recent gold coaching call that we did where one of our members asked the question about how do you deal with burnout when you are trying to be a high-performing preeminent producer. So stay tuned. The coaches have a few answers for you.
Are you a commercial insurance producer struggling to stand out from the competition? Do you find it challenging to grow your book of business and create a fulfilling career? If so, then welcome to the Preeminent Producer Podcast. Each week, we'll be tackling important topics, sharing proven strategies and insights from successful producers that are in the trenches and have traveled the journey to becoming a preeminent producer. You'll discover what it really takes to become preeminent and build your book of business in a way that isn't being taught anywhere else. Our hosts are experts in the field and have built thriving businesses by becoming the most trusted advisor to their clients. Welcome to your journey to becoming a preeminent producer. Let's dive in.
Take a break, take a vacation, be creative. I don't know if that helps, but yeah, burnout's real. And especially in sales, I find that a lot of times in sales, burnout comes from people that got their butt kicked on a big account and they hadn't done their homework prior to that throughout the months in advance to protect themselves in their book of business. So and how do you get out of that? Sometimes you get into a hole. Burnout can lead and can definitely push salespeople into a deep, dark, spiraling hole. So personally, I think if you see yourself getting close to burning out, you need to listen to your, like you would with your body, listen to your body, listen to where you are and do something different, take a break, what have you. But that's just me pontificating. So
I guess we're all different. So, I've never, in let's call it 35 years, I've taken one 5-day vacation, sandwich with a couple weekends. I just don't do it. But you know what I do? I take I make a lot of 3-day weekends, during the year. Go up to the mountains, take a fishing trip, whatever. That tends to work for me. And then the last thing, I don't know, whenever I felt a little bit of burnout, what's always pulled me out of any funk is writing a nice new account, because we're salespeople and we just get in fact, it doesn't even have to be that big an account sometimes, right? And we just like to win, so I don't know if that's helpful, Josh, but I guess we're all different, but taking some sort of a pause is whatever that is for you is a good idea. Because otherwise, you can just go into a negative spin and then you're coming across as negative or burned out to your clients and prospects. And you don't want that.
I think you know that when I was younger, I used to push with great intensity until I just physically would, physically and mentally just say, what am I doing here? And then just crash for 2-3 days until all of a sudden that spark came back. I got to get in the game. So we all have a different way of coping. But for me, it was kind of like just completely removing myself from the situation for a certain period of time until the ember started up again.
I was just going to say,
I don't mean months, but I mean,
I was just going to say real quick, it might help. 2 things. You got to celebrate your wins. You absolutely need to celebrate your wins. And don't just celebrate them and say, I got them. I mean, make a big deal of it. We used to have a bell we ring, we flash stuff up on people's computers. But whatever it takes, celebrate your wins. But I do think this is a career, so you have to pace yourself and you have to really listen to your body, your mental, your physical being, take care of it. Only you know what that looks like, and it's not going to be the same for everyone. But if you don't do that, you're not going to be in this for the long haul.
All right, guys, I know that was a shorter clip. We had to edit this just to protect the privacy of our members and continued conversation and all of that, but you get the gist of it. Burnout is real. And if you're facing that today, it really is important for you to kind of do a self-assessment. See how are you doing physically, spiritually, emotionally, mentally, all these things, because they all play a factor. And like the coach has said, everyone's different. So if you need to go find yourself a hobby where you can just put everything else to the side and go do something, do it. I know I've done that. I've got a Harley Davidson motorcycle that I was restoring for like over 3 years. It was amazing just to unplug from the computer and all the business stuff and focus on fixing up a motorcycle. It does wonders for you. So do a self-assessment and then go do something that is going to be good for you, whether it's getting more sleep, eating the right things, or going and having some fun, disconnecting, and then recharging to come back and continue on that journey of preeminence. So until next time, guys, we'll see you in the next episode of the Preeminent Producer Podcast.
Thanks so much for joining us on this episode of the Preeminent Producer Podcast. If you're enjoying the show, please feel free to subscribe, rate, and leave a review wherever you listen to your podcasts. That helps others find the show, and we greatly appreciate it. Once again, thanks for joining us, and we'll catch you in the next episode of the Preeminent Producer Podcast.